Okay, David. Coming back to a lot of people very fearful that you have been a victim of British government mind control. A lot of people have seen photographs of you in the newspapers or in magazines dressed as a woman, and that has added a lot of fuel to the fire. That people say, "Oh, the government hasn't stopped at just making this guy appear crazy, but he's also now dressing as a woman." And many people think that is another sign of mind control. So, could you please explain a bit about the feminine alter ego?
Yeah, well, to start with, those kind of attitudes that any man who puts on a frock is mad belongs in the Victorian era, when they said homosexuals were mad, women who got pregnant out of wedlock were mad. It's that kind of thinking, basically. And if people want to think like that, let them. It's their journey with God, and they will suffer the karma for it. But I've been a transvestite for many, many years. It's just the press didn't pick up on it. I used to go out as Dolores from about the end of 2006 onwards, but it was never picked up by the media, basically. And I do point out that, only half jokingly, that it says in the Bible both male and female will be found in Christ. And obviously one of the ways I connect to the feminine is by being Dolores. Not the be-all and end-all of it, but it is part of that. And when you've had a life like mine and you've constantly been up at authority all the time, that is very masculine. Living in that level of conflict, and any doctor will tell you this, you produce all sorts of adrenaline. If you don't deal with that, you get old very quickly. You die of heart attacks and so on.
Sure.
And particularly when I was involved in my court case and they were literally kicking 7 shades of shit out of me, it was great to be able to go back home, put on a frock, put on some mascara and lipstick and heels, and just forget being David Shayler. That, ironically, was what actually kept me sane in those moments.
Okay.
But also, can I say as well, is that Dolores is part of the prophecy. In the Bible, Christ walks up the Via Dolorosa, and that is the Latin for Dolores. There's all sorts of depictions of supposed goddesses like Semiramis, Liberty and Britannia. When you look at them, they've got square jaws and square shoulders. They are blokes in drag. Leonardo, another incarnation of Jesus' soul, on my previous lives, paints himself as the Mona Lisa.
Okay,
There's all
David,
sorts of signs that this is part of the prophecy.
David, has the British government or dark forces within the British government ever tried to kill you?
Yeah. I mean, I can't say obviously it's them. And again, I prefer to talk about the secret societies behind the government rather than the government themselves.
Rather, yeah, because it's too big a nebulous thing for people to just say the government.
Yeah, yeah.
Why do you think they want you dead?
Well, they wanted me dead from the word go. In 1997, I was blowing the whistle on MI6 funding Al-Qaeda. Now, if you've been planning for years to carry out 9/11 and blame it on Al-Qaeda, the last thing you want is an intelligence officer chirping on about that in the media. So literally 2 months after I went on the record, I was heading towards Paris to go and discuss the death of Princess Diana with Mohammed Al Fayed's security people in one of his Ritz Mercedes sent to pick us up. The driver fell asleep at the wheel, hit the central reservation at about 120 miles an hour, and somehow the car went up like that, came back down the road and carried on driving, and he wound the window down and restored himself, basically.
Yeah.
If it happened once, people say, oh, making too much out of it. But I've been now in 4 weird car incidents. I've been subject to attacks through meningitis, pneumonia, food poisonings, and I even think recently in Amsterdam I was actually shot at in the street with a silenced gun, basically.
And this was in Amsterdam, was it?
Yeah. And part of the prophecy is that the Christ is the first of the immortals. I was born to be immortal, and if God doesn't want you to die, you don't die. Simple as that.
Is that why you feel you're alive now? It's because
absolutely, for protection of God. Otherwise, in normal circumstances, I would have died a long, long time ago.
Okay, and for all the people who watch my channel, a lot of them feel very strongly about the dark forces at play. What would be your message to people like myself and to all the people who will watch this video as to what we can do? And I know that's a very open question, but if you could maybe keep it to 1 or 2 minutes, it's like, what do you think the best way we can go forward is?
There's one word: love.
Yeah.
If you truly live in love, and love is unconditional by definition, there's no such thing as conditional love. If you truly live in love, you will see the truth, you will see the way, and you will know exactly what to do. And this is, again, the importance of the balance in the masculine and feminine. The meditation is the passive feminine, when you open the channel to God. A lot of people say, I pray, nothing happens. That's because you're always asking God for something. Do it the other way. Listen to what he's saying, telling you. You may not hear it at the time, but it will come out. You'll know exactly what to do. When you do the masculine, go and do that action, no matter how scared you are by it, how far you're out of your comfort zone. You do that for God, you'll be truly blessed, and the world will begin to change, basically. But we also have on our side the common law, the natural law, or the law of God, which tells you you are a creation of God and you owe no allegiance whatsoever to their systems and their governments and everything else. But as long as you don't infringe the rights of another real human being, you can do what you like. And that also obviously means you can grow hemp, smoke marijuana and so on. So the 3 planks of my change are that all debt doesn't exist. You can't have a negative sum of money. That's an invention of Babylon. You can have £100, you can have £100 worth of goods, but you cannot have minus £100. So first, I've cancelled national debt. Nobody should be paying mortgages or credit card bills or council tax or income tax. Secondly, grow your own hemp. It's perfect nutrition for a human being. You can build your homes with it, you can fuel your homes with it, you can fuel your cars with it. It's the one plant we can use to build our civilization, and it's banned, and that's not an accident. And then thirdly, as I say, all you've got to do after that is to live in love, basically.
Yeah.
And you will get there. And it really is that simple. What we should never do, obviously, is be tempted by violence. So, to finish, and to sum that up, really, is there aren't 10 commandments in God's Bible. Those things are never referred to in the biblical text as commandments. You'll see that in headers, but not in the text. There are 2 commandments in God's Bible. They're in the New Testament, the book of John, and they are: love God with all your heart, mind and soul, and love your neighbour as you love yourself. If you do that, you will truly know God's love, and you truly know the way.
Okay. David, what's your opinion on a lot of people are saying that the truth movement or the love movement has been infiltrated by New Age ideas? What does that mean to you?
Well, I'm always suspect about the New Age. People who tell you you are God are lying to you. You are clearly not God. I'm God incarnated as Holy Spirit and man. I don't go around saying I am God. Yeah. So why some toe rag who's read a book about spirituality by Deepak Chopra or something thinks he's suddenly God, I do not know. And again, what sort of ego is that? So there's been a lot to obscure the idea of a Messiah or a chosen one of God. And it's not just a Christian idea. Jesus Christ is the version we know in the West. But obviously in Judaism he's Yeshua Messiah. If you're a Buddhist, I am the final Bodhisattva. If you're a Confucian, I am the true Confucian man. Even the Hopi Indians envisage me in their prophecy. It's a worldwide prophecy held by many, many different people over thousands and thousands of years. And it is truly only through the Christ that you can to know the way, because, I say, I've been through the process of arising into Christ consciousness, and therefore I can show the way. And the universe operates under a unity. I've been chosen by God to do this. So anybody who rejects me is effectively saying God hasn't made the right decision, which again is extremely egotistical and arrogant.
And what about people like Muslims or Hindus or Buddhists who might take offence at this idea of Christ because it's not part of their teachings? What message do you have for them?
Again, the Muslims accept the Jesus of the Bible as one of the second greatest prophet after Muhammad, and they also believe that it will be his reincarnation who will be what they call either the 12th Imam or the Mahdi, basically. So it's in Islam as well.
Okay, final question, David. What do you feel is going to happen around 2012?
Well, the universe is the expression of one consciousness, and the organisation of that consciousness is changing. We currently live on a tree of life, as it's shown in Kabbalah, and we'll be moving to a new construction, which will be 12 around the one, which is the primary meaning of Jesus and the 12 disciples in the Bible. But we'll be living at much greater levels of love, and indeed, we misunderstand words. We are dead while we have to reincarnate. Once we live immortally, but we have to live in love first. So 2012, this world will come to an end. There'll be a new construction of the world. Because this is more stable consciousness, it will change the least. Nevertheless, there will be significant changes: no electricity, no fossil fuels and so on, free energy. But we will be immortals, teaching the lower evolved souls how to rise into Christ consciousness.
David, I'd just like to say thank you very much, and thanks for taking the time out to speak to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.